Hello everybody, Jordan here. The PH is silent. We're continuing with our look at the various human cultures within the Forgotten Realms. In the previous video, we discussed the origins of humans to Toril as well as 4 of the major ethnicities, so be sure to check out that video for more information, links in the description below. But for now, we return talking about the Mulan. The Mulan make their home in Mulhorand, Thay, Unther, and Chandlewood. They were once slaves in the Yamaskar Empire who had brought Mulan to Faerun through portals. Since the fall of the Yamaskari, the Mulan have dominated the eastern shores of the Sea of Fallen Stars. After a millennia of rulership, the Mulan have become arrogant and highly resistant to change. They believe their culture is superior to all others. Trained in magic, there are disagreements within their culture as to which type of magic to pursue, arcane or divine. The group that followed a more arcane direction migrated to Thay, starting the Empire of Red Wizards. The Mulan worship the Mulhorandi pantheon, which are Egyptian gods. After the Mulan left their home world, their gods were prevented from aiding their worshippers on Faerun by a barrier. With the help of Ao, they were able to circumvent this barrier, and the Mulan had enough power to defeat the Yamaskari. The Rashemi are next, and they hail from northeastern reaches of Faerun. From the region of Rashomon, they also inhabit Thesk, Thay, and Aglarond. The Rashemi are descendants of nomadic tribes. The Rashemi existed before the fall of the Yamaskar Empire, living out their lives in Rashomon. They are warlike and resisted the Mulhorandi's efforts to take their lands. Then the Orc Gate Wars occurred, and the first empire of the Mulhorand reached out and hired the Rashemi as mercenaries. After the war, the Mulhorandi pulled back from the north, leaving an opening for the Rashemi to establish new empires. 2 empires were created that warred with one another over territory. This came to an end with the destruction of both empires, one at the hand of an avatar of Kasuth, while the other army was led by a demon lord Eltab. Following this, the Witches of Rashomon came about, a secret sisterhood to preserve the empire's magical lore. Partially because of their history, their view of life has become an unending series of challenges to be faced and overcome. Strong emphasis is placed on strength, either physical or magical. Respect must be earned in Rashemi culture. The Shou are one of the many human ethnic groups in far-off Karator. This made my list because it's listed on one of the ethnic groups in the 5th edition Player's Handbook, but there wasn't much information about the Shou in the PHB or the book Races of Faerun. There is some information in Dungeon Magazine 195 about a settlement in Faerun of Shou immigrants. The Shou people came from the lands of Shoulung, of the great empire raised in the name of the dragon. And honestly, I need to do an entire video on Karator or a video series, but this area and people are narratively influenced from ancient Japan and China. The Shou are a proud people with honor and tradition, and after migrating to Faerun, many have held on to their culture, which brought a sense of wonder to some of the other peoples in Faerun. There is a major Shou city in Faerun called Yaosing, and many have intermarried with other humans but have held on to their cultural heritage from Karator. Tethyrians are native to, Tethyr and the surrounding areas. They have been conquered numerous times by other humans, and thus their culture is a melting pot of Kalashite, Chondathan, Aluskan, and Low Netherese. They compose the majority of the lower classes, especially in Kalimshan. Warfare throughout their history has hardened them, and the Tethyrians make excellent fighters and rogues. They have an oral history which encourages bards as well to keep their stories retold. Tethyrians started out as a regular human tribe living along the Sword Coast. The Genie Lords brought Kalashites with them, and the nation of Kalimshan was created. The Tethyrians were absorbed into this and subjugated. Rebellion occurred within Kalashite rule, and by negative 370 DR, the clans were forced to defend their independence on numerous occasions, culminating in the crowning of Tethyr's first king in negative 212 DR. More of this can be found in my Tethyr video, so please click the link in the top right corner. Freedom is the most important gift to a Tethyrian. They have struggled and survived together so much. To be Tethyrian is to be part of a family. Loyalty to one's kin and neighbor and generosity to those in need are important aspects of Tethyrian society. A Tethyrian fighter would rather wield a sentimental blade carried by his grandfather than a new one crafted for him. They have strong ties to arcane and divine magic, and bardcraft is revered with its people. The Taurani were native to Faerun but pushed out by neighboring human tribes to their present-day location. The Mulan, after the fall of the Yamaskar Empire, migrated west and displaced the native Taurani, who were driven along the southeastern coast of the Sea of Fallen Stars. They eventually settled and founded the nation of Turmish around negative 37 DR. Finally, there are even more human ethnicities that are covered in other books, like the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide and Races of Faerun, that I just won't be able to cover in this video. The Arc-Ayun from Dambrath and Shar, the Bedain from southern Anarak, the folk from the Moonshae Isles, the Gur who live in the western heartlands and consider themselves the children of Saloon, the Haluran, the Amaskari, the Nar, the Sharan, and the Ulutiun. There are little bits about them in both books mentioned. That's not even covering the fallen human empires such as the Netherese. If you're really interested in playing a unique human character in the Forgotten Realms campaign, give these a quick read. You could be a Maztecan human cleric from the far-off land that lies west of Faerun, specially sent to figure out the Death Curse and Tomb of Annihilation. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks to my patrons on Patreon that make these videos happen. If you'd like to become a patron, consider clicking the link in the description. And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. I make new lore videos set in the world of Dungeons & Dragons every Wednesday, with over 90+ lore videos to watch thus far. Thanks again for sharing these videos with your gaming group, and I will see you all in the next one.